Welcome to The Democrats Surrendered, the podcast that exposes the broken promises, the backroom deals, and the betrayals hiding behind the Democratic Party's so-called progressive facade. I'm your host, Edward Williams. In today's episode, we're turning our attention to a powerful and shadowy force, a force that's warping elections, silencing grassroots voices, and reshaping the Democratic Party from the inside out. That force is dark money. You've probably heard the term before. It's often used in discussions about Republican mega donors or conservative billionaires. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Dark money isn't just a Republican problem. It has quietly become one of the most dangerous tools used within the Democratic Party itself, especially when establishment incumbents are challenged by progressives. So how did this happen? Why haven't Democratic leaders stepped in to stop it? And what does it mean for the future of the party? Let's break it down. Let's begin with the basics. Dark money refers to political spending by organizations, often 501c4 nonprofits or limited liability companies. They are not legally required to disclose their donors. These groups can spend unlimited amounts on political ads, campaign messaging, and endorsements. But they do so with zero transparency. That means voters don't know who's funding the message, who stands to benefit, or what agenda is driving it. To push back, many progressive candidates have embraced what's called the No Dark Money Pledge. It's a voluntary commitment to reject financial support from undisclosed sources. These pledges often go further, promising to disclose major donors, reject corporate PAC money, avoid super PAC coordination, and support campaign finance reform. But while many progressives are proud to take the pledge, most establishment Democrats have refused. Historically, dark money has been seen as a general election issue. But recently, the fiercest battles are happening inside the Democratic primaries. In the 2022 and 2024 election cycles, millions of dollars in anonymous donations poured into intra-party contests. The targets? Progressive candidates challenging corporate-aligned incumbents. Here are a few examples. In Pennsylvania, Summer Lee faced a tsunami of last-minute attack ads, strategically timed just before voters hit the polls. Jessica Cisneros, running against Henry Cuellar in Texas, was hit with similar tactics. Who was behind the money? Organizations like Democratic Majority for Israel, the Mainstream Democrats PAC, and AIPAC-affiliated super PACs. These groups pump the airways full of negative messaging, often using fear, distortion, and disinformation. And they did it days before the election, when grassroots campaigns had no time or money to respond. This isn't just political competition. It's asymmetric warfare. Candidates are being outspent 5-1, and the people funding these attacks remain completely hidden. So what has the Democratic Party done to stop this? Publicly, party leaders denounce dark money. They speak of transparency, integrity, and protecting democracy. But behind the scenes, the Democratic National Committee has done next to nothing. The DNC has refused to pass internal rules banning dark money in primaries. There is no enforcement, no accountability, no reform. And while progressive challengers are buried under dark money attacks, establishment candidates benefit from the silence. This isn't reform. It's complicity. Let's talk about the fallout. Here are just a few long-term consequences of dark money dominance in the Democratic primaries. Candidates aligned with wealthy donors and corporate interests win, even in districts that lean heavily progressive. Grassroots candidates can't compete financially, which means voters never get to hear their bold ideas or authentic solutions. When anonymous money manipulates elections and party leaders do nothing, faith in democracy collapses. Candidates elevated by dark money are least likely to change the system that got them elected. In short, dark money doesn't just influence elections, it buys silence, it buys loyalty, and it locks out the very reforms that working people desperately need. Let's name the players behind the curtain, the architects of the dark money machine reshaping the Democratic Party. Number 1, AIPAC's United Democracy Project, a pro-Israel super PAC that has spent tens of millions targeting progressive voices like Jamal Bowman and Summer Lee. 2, the Democratic Majority for Israel, known for aggressive attack ads against progressives, particularly in close races. 3, the Mainstream Democrats PAC, a corporate-aligned nonprofit that funds anonymous attacks while avoiding public accountability. These are not grassroots coalitions. They are elite-funded operations with a single goal: protect the status quo and stop any movement that threatens to change it. Here's the bottom line. The Democratic Party has failed to defend its own primaries from the corrosive power of dark money. And in many cases, it hasn't just stood by, it has benefited. This isn't just hypocrisy, it's surrender. Allowing anonymous donors to dominate primaries and silence challengers is not democracy, it's corruption. But the story isn't over. Voters still have power. Local Democratic parties can adopt rules on transparency and ethical campaign conduct. Activists can keep the pressure on. And we, the everyday people, can speak louder than the dark money, louder than the party elites, and louder than the silence that enables all of this. Because reclaiming the Democratic Party starts from the ground up, and it starts now. Thank you for listening to The Democrats Surrendered. I'm Edward Williams. If this episode struck a nerve, if you watch good candidates get buried by mystery money, share it. Spread the word. Demand accountability from those in power. We don't have to accept a political system that puts billionaires before ballots. Subscribe for future episodes. Stay informed, stay outraged, and remember, the Democratic Party may have surrendered, but we haven't.